Hi, everybody. My name is. Hi, I'm. Okay, ready? Woo. Hi, I'm Ricardo, and welcome to the Power of Music podcast.
Hello, I'm Courtney. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, you've joined us where music and inspiration meet. So let's get started. Ricardo has a special treat for us today.
All right. So, Courtney, every once in a while, a song comes along that not only just defines a moment in time, right? There's a lot of songs that just define a moment in your life, a moment in time. It could be a romantic song, it could be a party song, and you're like, oh, yeah, I remember that party. Oh, yeah, I remember that moment. But then there's also songs that come around that make an impact on your life, that they change the trajectory of your life and they totally pivot whatever it is that you're going through to something totally different that comes out unexpected. And this song, Hey Young World by Slick Rick, is that song for me. Um, Big shout out to Slick Rick, first of all. Honorable mention to his other song that's significant. His big popular song is Children's Story. And that was the first time that I heard of him. And that's the first time I was introduced to this artist. I was at my neighbor's house, David Phillips, and he always had the latest and greatest records slash tapes. And he would play this music for me. And I was like, wow, it was in his attic room that I heard Slick Rick. It was in his attic room that I heard Queen Latifah and the Beastie Boys. And I was just, wow, man. So big shout out to my buddy David.
That's awesome.
But he had the Slick Rick single for Children's Story, and I just enjoyed something about this artist, about him, that I went out and got the entire tape. And as listening to the tape, it had different songs. And then I come to this song and I'm just like, wow. I had never heard something quite like this before. Obviously, this was in the early days of hip hop, but little did I know that this song would literally impact my life for probably the first 30 years, since I was 30, since my mid 30s until in my mid 30s. And even now, when I listen to it, it just takes me back to all those moments. So it's
I
an
love that.
inspirational song, it's a motivational song, um, and it's just one of these songs that just touches your heart. And for me personally, it I think it saved my life.
Wow.
So oh,
You're doing
okay.
good. You're doing
Okay.
good.
Okay. 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 No, but I do. I think it really changed things. So I first heard it, I was younger. It was probably what, 1988. I don't remember. Maybe I was maybe 10, 11 years old. I heard it. I wasn't working. I wasn't doing anything, but I grew up pretty poor. I grew up pretty poor with a single mom. And so as we talk about the lyrics, it really starts to resonate, especially once I got older into my teenage years. Because what happens when you're in your teenage years? You start to rebel. You start to be bad. You start to think that you're just all that and you don't need your parents anymore. And you get disrespectful and you lose focus and you start to hang out with the wrong people. And this song was always the song that brought me back to remind me that I'm not that I'm more than that, regardless of the crowd that I was hanging out with. Like, I remember several instances where I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to do, maybe something that was maybe a little bit illegal. And the
Maybe,
song would
maybe
come
not.
on in the background or on a movie, or the video would just come on, or a car would drive by or something, or a Slick Rick sample would come on and it would take me right back to this song. And I'd be like, damn, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. But it all comes back to this song.
Powerful.
Um, it got to the point to where I would just listen to this day in and day out. Right before I moved to Dallas in 2005, this song was on repeat. I had one CD. I had one CD that I created with this song back to 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 back. Like this was all I would listen to.
I love.
So when I moved to Dallas on my way here, after I had packed everything up, moving, this was the song that I listened to all the way then, just to remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing, just to remind me why. So, so yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I could feel
So,
that. I
yeah.
could feel that. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that moment with us.
So yeah, so then there's a couple of more, but let's get into the song. Let's get going with it.
Okay.
But this song is the power song. All right, so let's get started.
Okay. So I'm going to kick it off. And I just want to say before I start, I'd maybe heard this song once or twice. And so I have very fresh ears hearing this. And it's so pure. It is just so pure. And I'm not even talking about the pure hip hop song. I just mean like the message and where hip hop was born from is kind of what it took me back to. So I have a real new appreciation for this. So lyrics. Okay. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Hey, young world, the world is yours. Hey, young world, the world is yours. Young world, the world is yours. Young world.
Right. So he's talking to the kids. He's talking to the teenagers. So here we go. It starts off, the first chorus goes, it may cause concern. It's broad and deep. Why don't you listen and learn?
Hmm.
Love means happiness. Let me say that again. Love means happiness that once was strong, but due to society, even that's turned wrong. Is that any more 2021? And then this was in
Yeah,
the
I was about to
80s.
say, I feel like this was written for us right now.
Yeah. Times have changed. Hey, it's cool to look bummy and be a dumb dummy and disrespect your mommy.
Have you forgotten who put you on this earth, who brought you up right, and who loved you since your
Birth.
birth?
Yeah. So that line right there is like, damn. I'm over here doing stuff that I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm not listening to my mom. I'm disrespecting her in every possible way, day in and day out. And then I'm listening to this in my teenage years. Once, it didn't mean that much when I was 10 or 11, but it was like, damn, okay. You listen to it in your teenage years when you're doing this stuff, and it's like, wow, okay. I'm disrespecting my mom, the woman who put me on this earth, who brought me up right and loved me since my birth. Like, fuck, okay.
What a gift.
It goes on to say, reward is a brainwashed kid going wild. So this is your mom's reward for all the hard work. Her reward is a brainwashed kid going wild. And young little girls already have a child, bad company, and hey, you've been framed. Your parents are hurting and ashamed. I mean, think about that. Young little girls already have a child. You're hanging out with the wrong people, and you get accused for doing things that you didn't do. And that was me. I was hanging out with the wrong people, and I was getting into the wrong groups and hanging out with people that I wasn't supposed to be doing things that I wasn't supposed to do. And I got in trouble right along with everybody else, even though that I really didn't do it.
Yeah.
Your parents are hurting and ashamed, ruining yourself, and your mommy can't cope. Wow. Hey, little kids, don't follow these dopes. Go ahead, Courtney.
Yeah, no, I love that line. Hey, little kids, don't follow these dopes, because that's a metaphor for a lot in life, kiddos.
Oh man, I was following some dopes.
Right. I followed a few in my days. Here's a rule for the non-fool. Your life don't drool. Don't be a fool like those that didn't go to school. Get ahead and accomplish things. You'll see the wonder and the joy life brings.
Boom. Right
Boom.
there.
Mic drop.
Get ahead and accomplish things. You'll see the wonder and the joy life brings. I did end up dropping out of school. And every time I heard this, I'm like, no, I'm not going to allow that to define me. I didn't graduate high school, but I ended up going back to school, got a GED, got an associate's, working on a bachelor's now. But
Mhm.
that line's still in the back of my head. Boom, right there.
Yeah.
Um, get ahead and accomplish things. You'll see the wonder that joy life brings. Don't admire thieves. Hey, they don't admire you. Their
Boom.
time's limited. Hard rocks too.
Ooh, that
And
says a lot, right?
I admired some thieves. And I wanted to be right along with them. But that line right there, their time's limited, hard rocks too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had to step out of that. So listen, be strong, scream whoop de doo, go for yours, because dreams come true.
Mhm.
And then the line that just brings it all together, and you'll make your mommy so proud of you too. Like, get
Yeah.
your head out of your butt, kid.
Yeah, and I love it says here on the page I'm looking at, and this is a message that the ruler Rick threw, and it's true. I love
You
that.
know, you
Like
know.
it's just it says so much, and I love that it's a 1980s hip hop song, but
Yeah,
I mean, it says so, your emotions shows it all. But like to the fact that we can hand that to a child, a young adult, anyone at all at the age of, 2020, and it all makes perfect sense, if not more sense. I mean,
yeah.
it's timeless. Those messages in the songs like this, they're just timeless.
And I mean, I just remember this song coming on when I was doing stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing. When I was putting myself in situations that I wasn't supposed to be putting myself in at that age. And it was like, wow, I don't need to be here. Or
Yeah.
any Slick Rick song that would come on, it would remind me of this, and I'd be like, well, what would Rick the Ruler say? He would tell
Hmm.
me to, hey, get out of this, you know get out of this life. This isn't for you. This isn't where you're supposed to be. Get ahead and accomplish things. That was
Hmm.
one of my first affirmations. Get ahead and accomplish things.
I
Like
love that one.
that's it. Uh,
This
sec-
is
Go
Oh,
ahead.
yes. No, I was going to say this reminds me of, well, just very quick honorable mention. But the Ex Ambassadors have a song called "Hey Child," and it's very similar message. It's not a hip hop song; it's more of a rock pop song, but it's speaking to the child of a friend of yours. So basically, like, don't repeat your father's mistakes. Don't go to jail like him. But it's so powerful, and it just it, these hit home. These hit deep. I don't know what else to say, so I'll stop
Yeah,
rambling.
it's
So,
all good.
what are you thinking?
It's deep. It's deep. So here's the second verse. Here we go. Hey, don't you look fly? And you don't have a dollar. Oh my my my. So you're out. You mean maybe you're looking sharp, but you don't have a dollar. Oh my my my. You've been fighting again and you forgot why. Hey kid, walk straight. Master your high. Why? Because you make your family cry. And all the jokes aside, are you in good health? Hey little boy, have you really checked yourself? Hey little boy, because it doesn't matter how old you are if you're doing this stuff, if you're hanging out with the wrong people, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not mastering your mind,
Hmm.
you're still a little boy,
Yep.
you know? And I mean, it can't be better put together. Go ahead.
Yeah. You're a disgust. You know someone that I can't trust. You'd steal mom's welfare and you'd run and buy some dust. And plus, I must say, Big Shot, you're not. Your
Yep.
friends are talking, and I'm hearing that your girls are what? You don't know? Go steal and rob. And while you're at it, go get a suit for a job. You see, you're acting like you're acting like this urge is demanding. Come on, wake up, have some understanding.
Yep. There you go. You think you're big, you think you're living the life, you think you're doing what you're needing to do because you're stealing and robbing. And really,
You
right
try to
there,
cover it up with the suit. Mm-mm.
yeah, you know. And that line again, right there, while you're at it, go get a suit for a job. When I was picking out suits to go for interviews, I've that line, get a suit for a job. You gotta dress for the part. You gotta look sharp. You gotta do what you gotta do. And you steal your mom's welfare and run and buy some dust. I mean, I didn't buy dust, but I would steal my mom's money to go buy some beer. Just as bad,
Mm-hmm.
and I really had to check myself. So I mean, all of that just rings so true to me, and it just like hits home. It hits my heart. He goes on to say, society's a weak excuse for a man. It's time for the righteous. Rap is trying to take the stand. Believe it or not, the Lord still shines on you. He guides you and watched you as you grew. So regardless of where you are in life, the Lord still shines on you. He guides
Mhm.
you and he watched you as you grew. Plus, past the age of a little child, that's true. So even if you're not a little child anymore, the Lord still shines on you
Yeah.
and he still guides you and watches you. But folks, your age don't act like you do. So be mature and put the boy to a halt. And if you're over 18, I wish you act like an adult.
Mhm.
I mean,
Don't
mm,
yeah.
when I got over 18 and I would hear this, I'd be like, damn, okay. Like
I get
I'm
it now.
18 and I'm running around over here like a dog without an owner,
Yeah.
and I'm not acting like an adult. I'm doing things that I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm acting the way that I shouldn't be acting. I'm running around not doing things that are gonna make my mom proud of me, and I'm not getting out there and accomplishing things.
Yeah. It's an interesting phase to be in, but I think you're highlighting a dynamite point that even as adults, we have that weird phase that we're tempted to victimhood, where as a child, it's easy to blame others. It's easy to say it's not your fault or you didn't know. Whereas an adult, we kind of do the same thing. We just call it different names, right?
Correct. And
And
what a
it's not
reminder, though.
helping
I was
us.
out getting high, doing things I wasn't supposed to do, drinking a lot of beer, whatever. And for Slick Rick to remind me, regardless of where I am in my life, the Lord still shines on you.
Yeah. I love that.
Boom.
I love that. And okay, so the next line, don't live in a world of hate, hate, hate. Pull yourself together and get yourself straight. Men don't steal. Hey, most don't borrow. And if you smoke crack, your kids will smoke crack tomorrow. So be more mature and your kids do your chores. Make your own money. Hey, be proud that's yours. And you know why? Because that's a man. That's brains. No spite. Staying out of trouble when it comes in sight.
Yep. Boom. Right there.
It's like
Like,
every
hey,
line is a mic drop. It's quotable, like
like
every
you,
single one.
yeah, you could just, you did the bad things. You were running around like you were not supposed to be doing. You were stealing from your mom. But hey, turn it around, right?
Mhm.
Grow up, be more mature, act your age, make your own money, and be proud that's yours, right? That's a man with brains, no spite. And let's see, here's the last line. Here's the last couple of lines. And a man never loses a fight in God's sight, because righteous laws are overdue. And this is the message the ruler Rick threw, and it's true,
Wow. I
right?
love how he never says, "Hey, if you've smoked crack before, you're never gonna get better. Hey, if you have hurt your parents before or used someone in your life, you're always gonna be like that." Like, he's not saying you have an unfair fight. He's saying it doesn't matter what you're coming from. It doesn't matter what you did 5 minutes ago. You can
Correct.
change it. And
Correct.
I will always support those messages.
And for the longest time, this song was my why. We talk a lot about the power of the why, the power of purpose, the power of focusing on why you're doing what you're doing to drive you forward. For the
Mhm.
longest time, this was my why. When I was struggling, when I was tired, when I didn't want to work anymore, when I couldn't push myself any further, throw Slick Rick on Hey Young World, and it pumped me up. It charged me up. It reminded me of what I'm doing, what I'm doing. It gave me my purpose. And
Man,
you
you can't
can't
tell me that's not magic.
you can't you
Oh,
can't you can't change that.
yeah.
You can't do that. So I got started in IT. I ended up getting some contracted jobs, did really well, ended up doing, and I'm still doing very well for myself. And I attribute the majority of my success to the song, for keeping me focused, for keeping me in line, for reminding me of what I'm doing. So I'm sitting in my cube. I started to fiddle around with websites and domain names, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, let me go see what Slick Rick is doing. Still jamming it, focusing on my why, working in IT, learning about websites. And I'm like, let me go see what Slick Rick is doing. And to my surprise, Slick Rick didn't have a website, Courtney. No website.
Oh,
What's up with
really?
that? So I was like, okay. So I created a website for Slick Rick, like without permission, without anything. I just
Love
created the
it.
website for Slick Rick. So I created the website and I started to create some other things, under the Slick Rick guys and just continuously working on the website. And then one day I was like, man, I sure would like to get Slick Rick's blessing on this. The website is ricktheruler.net because that's, Rick the Ruler, right? Um, and
Gotta open
so
it right now. Y'all, I'm learning this as we speak. Okay.
so the site has changed. They're in charge of it now. But I started it right there. And then so one day I was like, man, I sure would really like to get Slick Rick's blessing on this, right? And and so I looked for contact information. I was emailing people. I ended up calling one of the old executives from Def Jam. Like I don't like if you watch any of the hip hop biographies, you see this guy on there, Bill Adler.
Mm.
And so I ended up finding his name with Adler Communications. He was right there at Def Jam, doing relate A&R, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or relationships or something. So I found his phone number and he answered the phone. And I'm like, is this Bill Adler? He's like, yes, this is Bill Adler.
The one I was trying
The,
to call?
the Bill Adler? The Bill Adler from Def Jam? He's like, yes, I worked with Def Jam back in the day. And this was 2006, 2005, right? He's like,
Mhm.
yes, that's me. I'm like, well, my name is Ricardo. I created this website for Slick Rick, and I would really like to get a hold of him to get his input and see what they think, and maybe see what we could do together. And he's like, well, let me contact his wife because his wife is his manager,
Ah,
Mandy. So he's like, let me contact his wife and let me give them your information. And within 30 minutes, they're emailing me. They're emailing me. So we
guys, see what happens when you take action on what you want?
so we created this relationship over the years. And I helped them. I said, hey, I would really like to start a Facebook page. So we started the Slick Rick Facebook page, and we went through that process. And then after that, they got some other people behind the scenes and they created a YouTube page and an Instagram page. And the Facebook page now almost has about 1 million followers now.
Wow.
And
Do
and
you still
they
get to be a moderator on that one?
I do. I do.
That's
And
cool.
it's cool. And over the years, me and Mandy, his wife, have created this relationship where they'll text me and I text them when I see something pretty cool. I'm like, hey, Mandy, blah, blah, blah. And every time that I get a text from them or they text me, they're like, hey, family, how are the kids? How is this? And I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
wow. So his wife is a beautiful, amazing soul. Rick himself, beautiful, amazing soul. DJ Chaos, amazing souls. The whole, Team Eye Patch. And they're like, you're part of Team Eye Patch. I'm like, yay, I'm a part of Team Eye Patch. you know? And it's just like I'm in awe about it. Anytime that I interact with them, I'm just in awe, like, wow. Wow.
That's awesome.
They send us of this big thing when Sebastian was born of just goodies. When they come to Dallas, we get invited to the shows. We go backstage, we hang out, we catch up, and
I remember a
it's like
story.
it's like
Yeah.
wow. Like
Isn't there a famous picture somewhere of one
there
of these
is
happenings?
there's several of them with Slick Rick. And it's like wow. And I'm just sitting there in awe the whole time, like, okay, and I have this picture here. This is the house I grew up in. This was my mom's first house, 525 square feet in Longview, Texas. And this is where I grew up. And I can honestly say that I'm where I am today because of this song. Like, this song drove me. This song motivated me. This song inspired me. This song kept me with my focus of doing what I needed to do and understanding where I've been. And that's the power of music.
Yes. Yes, it is.
you
Ah,
know?
the
That's the
ripple that
power
it
of
creates.
yeah, that's the power of the song. That's the power of music. And like I said, I just couldn't imagine just being part of that team, communicating with his wife, communicating with Rick. And it's I'm still in awe about it. Like I'm just like, wow, wow, because I
Yeah.
just remember all the tears. I remember the feelings that this song gives me, and it's just wow.
It's a deep root for you.
Yeah, yeah. So just with the website, they were just like, "Oh, we're so appreciative." I'm like, "You guys don't know what the song did for me. If this is my contribution to Team Eye Patch, I'm more than happy and proud to be part of it. Like it's just me giving back. And if there's anything that you guys need, it's I'm here. Whatever you guys need, I'm here, and
Yeah.
it'll get done and I'll figure it out. And I was just like, it's the least I could do.
I love hearing Jesse's feedback, your wife, for anyone who does not know who Jesse is. But yeah, she said it's overwhelming in a good way.
Yeah, it is.
And that's that. I love that because it first took you. I mean, one, thank you for sharing that inspiration and motivation you got from this song with all of us. And I now understand completely why you wouldn't tell me the story ahead of time before we hit record. But like, it's just that you first plug into something, you guys, and then you just let yourself build up the meeting, let it move you, let it inspire you to your core. And then you take that and you do something with it. And because of that combination of things happening, you now have a relationship with Slick Rick and his wife, and that's incredible. I
It
mean,
is.
it's just like you can't. I feel like words are very limiting, you guys. And that's where with this being a music podcast, you'll hear me say that a lot, but words are extremely limiting because we can only a lot of feelings don't fit into words, right? And music really holds that message. So it's hard to say what I'm trying to say, but I think that's beautiful, that's amazing, and I find this wildly inspiring.
Exactly. And that's the power of music. That's why we're doing this podcast, because music touches us in different ways in different moments. It can hype us up and make us feel love and affection. And in this
Mhm.
case, drive you, motivate you, inspire you, remind you of what you're doing, of why you're doing what you do, and why it's important to continue to push and be a better person and
Mhm.
get your life straight.
Whether it's a
And
tool or your actual lifeline, like
correct.
you mentioned.
And it's amazing the power of song, the power of music and what it means to us. And
Yes.
I mean, I don't know where I would have been without hearing this song. I don't know. Because I just can think of so many more pivotal moments in my life where this song made me make, yes, I will say, made me make the right choices, forced me to make the right choices. Because I'm like,
That's an
okay,
honest statement right there. Yeah.
it forced me to make some very good choices in my life that I don't know if I would have made them if this song wasn't there to inspire me and move me the way that it did.
May I ask a question? Would your relationship with your mom be so rich now without this song?
It wouldn't. It wouldn't. I mean, it can always be better. There's always some issues with, the Mexican mom and how we communicate and stuff like that. And
You
just
speak
that
for
dynamic that's always there and it's not gonna really change. But I still strive to make her proud. I still
Mhm.
strive to be as respectful as I can and to do more and be more and achieve more. And now it's kind of like, don't be a dumb dummy and disrespect your mommy. Have you forgotten who put you on this earth? That applies right there to Sebastian now. Because I think about him and I talk to him like, hey, don't disrespect mommy. She put you on this earth. She loves you. And she's raised you since your birth.
Mhm.
So I'm like, like
Yeah.
the song is still playing a pivotal role in my
He's gonna hear
parenting.
this song eventually. Oh, I'm sure he's already heard it a lot now. But anyway, one day when he's older, he's gonna be like, half of
Uh-huh.
dad's quotes used to be from this.
Because
Okay.
I'm just like, don't disrespect your mommy. Don't be a dumb dummy and disrespect your mommy. Like I'll tell him that. You need to respect her,
Yeah.
you know, and you need to, get yourself straight. And there just several little things that come up here and there with in regards to this song.
Mhm.
Um, but it's a beautiful song. It's an amazing song. So
Yeah.
there you go. The Power of Music, episode
Yes.
3, Hey Young World by Slick Rick.
I'm a new fan. Can't wait to listen to his other stuff and get introduced to it. But thank you. Thank you for all of that, Ricardo.
Ah,
From everybody and myself. Thank you.
oh, thank you, Slick Rick, Mandy, DJ Chaos, Team Eye Patch, and it's an amazing life. I'm in
Mhm.
awe every single day when I think about it.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you so much for tuning
That's-
in. Make
Yes.
sure you like and follow the podcast at Force for Growth. We'll be posting The Power of Music in a couple of weeks, and it'll be its own separate podcast.
Yes.
But
Yes. And as always, remember to be a force for good
a force for growth.
and a force for greatness.
Bye.
Bye.